Welcome to Animal World documentary Yuzufu Volpe. Please subscribe. Thank you.
The Amazon rainforest is home to a diverse array of frog species, each uniquely adapted to its lush, humid environment. These frogs range in size, color, and behavior, with some of the most famous being the brightly colored poison dart frogs. Known for their vibrant hues of blue, yellow, and red, these frogs use their coloration as a warning to predators of their toxicity. While some frogs live high in the trees, others prefer the forest floor, thriving in the moist conditions provided by the rainforest. Frogs in the Amazon play a crucial role in the ecosystem by helping control insect populations and serving as food for larger animals. Many species have developed fascinating survival strategies, such as camouflaging with the environment or producing toxins for defense. With over 1,000 species of frogs inhabiting the Amazon, they represent a significant portion of the amphibian diversity in the region. However, like much of the Amazon's wildlife, frogs face threats from deforestation, climate change, and habitat destruction. Their sensitivity to environmental changes makes them indicators of ecosystem health, and their conservation is vital for maintaining the balance of the rainforest ecosystem. The life cycle of a frog consists of several distinct stages, each showing the fascinating process of transformation known as metamorphosis. Here's an overview of the frog life cycle. Eggs. Frogs begin their life as eggs, usually laid in water by the female frog. Frog eggs are often found in clusters or masses, and they are surrounded by a jelly-like substance that protects them. Depending on the species, a single female frog can lay hundreds to thousands of eggs. Tadpole larva. Once the eggs hatch, the frog enters its tadpole stage. Tadpoles live in water, and at this stage, they look more like fish than frogs. They have gills for breathing, a long tail for swimming, and no legs. Their diet mainly consists of algae and plant matter. Tadpole with legs. As tadpoles grow, they undergo significant changes. Gradually, they develop hind legs, and later, front legs. Their gills begin to be replaced by lungs, preparing them for life on land. Their tail also starts to shrink as they approach the next stage, froglet. Young frog. After developing legs and lungs, the tadpole becomes a froglet. At this stage, it resembles a miniature adult frog, but still has a small tail. The froglet can live both in water and on land, although it remains close to the water. Adult frog. In the final stage, the froglet loses its tail completely and becomes an adult frog. Adult frogs can live on land and in water, and they are carnivorous, feeding on insects, small invertebrates, and sometimes small fish or amphibians. Once mature, adult frogs will return to water to breed, starting the cycle all over again. This fascinating metamorphosis from egg to adult highlights the incredible adaptability and survival strategies of frogs. The conservation of colorful and poisonous frogs, such as the poison dart frogs, is a critical issue due to the unique ecological role these species play and the threats they face in their natural habitats. These frogs are known for their vibrant colors, which serve as a warning to predators about their toxicity. However, many of these species are currently at risk due to habitat destruction, climate change, pollution, and illegal pet trade. 1. Habitat protection. The primary threat to these frogs is the loss of their natural habitats. particularly in tropical rainforests like the Amazon. Deforestation for agriculture, logging, and urban development is destroying the ecosystems that these frogs depend on. Conservation efforts focus on protecting and restoring these environments to ensure the survival of frog populations. Point 2. Combating climate change. Climate change is altering the delicate ecosystems in which these frogs live. Rising temperatures and changing rainfall patterns can affect their breeding cycles, food availability, and habitat suitability. Global efforts to combat climate change through reducing carbon emissions and promoting sustainable practices are essential for the long-term survival of these species. Point 3. Pollution control. Poisonous frogs are highly sensitive to environmental pollutants, particularly chemicals like pesticides and fertilizers, which can contaminate the water they depend on. Strict regulations on the use of harmful chemicals and promoting organic farming methods can help reduce the impact of pollution on frog populations. Point 4. Preventing illegal trade. Many colorful and poisonous frogs are sought after in the illegal pet trade due to their striking appearance. This not only depletes wild populations, but also disrupts ecosystems. Enforcement of wildlife protection laws, along with awareness campaigns, is crucial to curbing this illegal activity. Point 5. Research and education. Scientific research into the biology and ecology of these frogs can lead to better conservation strategies. Additionally, public education about the importance of frogs in maintaining ecosystem balance and their role as bioindicators of environmental health can foster greater support for their conservation. Efforts to conserve colorful and poisonous frogs are essential for preserving biodiversity and the health of the ecosystems they inhabit. Without dedicated conservation actions, many of these fascinating species could face extinction. Frog meat is consumed, farmed, and traded in various countries around the world, primarily in Asia, Europe, and Latin America. Here are the key countries involved in the consumption, farming, and trade of frog meat. 1. France. France is one of the largest consumers of frog meat, with frog legs considered a delicacy. Known as cuisses de grenouille, frog legs are served in many restaurants. However, due to environmental concerns and the depletion of local frog populations, most frogs consumed in France are imported from countries like Indonesia. Point 2. Indonesia. Indonesia is the world's largest exporter of frog meat. The country has extensive wild harvesting of frogs, particularly in Java and Sumatra, where frogs are caught and sold to international markets, especially to European countries. Some farming of frogs also takes place to meet the growing demand. Point 3. China. China is both a significant consumer and exporter of frog meat. Frogs are commonly eaten in various dishes, especially in southern China, where they are used in soups and stir-fries. Frog farming is widespread in China, with bullfrogs being the most commonly farmed species. Point 4. Vietnam. Vietnam is another major player in the frog farming industry, producing both for domestic consumption and export. Frog meat is popular in traditional Vietnamese cuisine, and the country also exports frog legs to countries in Europe and Asia. Point 5. United States. In the U.S., frog legs are consumed primarily in the southern states like Louisiana, where they are considered a traditional dish in Cajun and Creole cuisine. Although the consumption is not as widespread as in Asia or Europe, some frog farming exists, and there is demand for imported frog legs. Point 6. Belgium. Belgium, along with France, is one of the largest consumers of frog meat in Europe. Like France, Belgium imports most of its frog legs from countries like Indonesia and Vietnam due to local conservation concerns. Point 7. Mexico. Frog meat is consumed in some parts of Mexico, particularly in rural areas where frogs are caught from the wild. Although the country does not have a large commercial frog farming industry, wild frogs are often harvested and sold locally. Point 8. Italy. In Italy, frog legs are a traditional delicacy in certain regions, especially in the north. While not consumed as widely as in France, frog legs are featured in local cuisines and are also imported to meet demand. Point 9. Peru. In Peru, frog juice, extractor de rana, is considered a traditional remedy believed to boost energy and stamina. Frogs are commonly used in this drink, and some are caught from the wild for local consumption. Point 10. Malaysia and Thailand. Both Malaysia and Thailand are involved in the farming of frogs, primarily for export. Frog farming is growing in these countries, and they export frog meat to various regions, especially in Southeast Asia and Europe. Trade and environmental concerns. The international trade in frog meat has raised significant environmental concerns. Overharvesting of wild frog populations has led to a decline in numbers, especially in countries like Indonesia and India. Many conservationists argue that unsustainable harvesting disrupts ecosystems, as frogs play a crucial role in controlling insect populations. Some countries have introduced frog farming as a solution to reduce pressure on wild populations. In summary, countries like France, Indonesia, China, Vietnam, Belgium, and the US are involved in the consumption, farming, and trade of frog meat. While frog legs are considered a delicacy in many parts of the world, the demand for frog meat has sparked environmental and conservation challenges that require careful management.